Hi, Carly. I am going to go through your first assignment here on coding, I should say. So let's go ahead and start here with number one. It looks like hopefully you followed what I had. The only thing here, it should be G4909. I don't know if I had that wrong, but let me know. With that, the reason you don't go with 509 is because it had to do with alcohol and a bunch of different things. So even if you pull up the code book on that one, I'll show you real quick. Related to alcohol, drugs, all of these, and this scenario was not. It was post-traumatic. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to number three. With number three, we have an adverse effect. With an adverse effect, it is always secondary. The T code is. So this is really important to remember adverse effects. The T code is second. Whatever's wrong with the patient is first. We do know what the cancer is. You're going with an unspecified, but we do know that it was of the testes. So that's why we need to go a little bit more specific. It does look like your procedure code's good. Number five, B20, HIV needs to be first. A lot of students are doing this. So a couple of things let's take from this is that when a person has AIDS and they're being admitted to the hospital, and the reason this patient is because of the histoplasmosis, but the histoplasmosis is related to the AIDS. So AIDS always takes precedence and being listed as principal. Same thing with somebody who has pneumonia that's related to AIDS. They get admitted to the hospital. The B20 is going to be first, and then the code for the pneumonia. Now, if a patient had a fracture that is not related to the AIDS, so the fracture code is going to be first. So with this, then we go down here. So again, we're just going to switch them around. We have the D70, T35, which you did good there. Everything else looks great. Just once again, on sequencing. Number 7, excellent job. We have 4 codes and all 4 poisoning codes. Poisoning is always, T codes are always first. And then what's wrong with the patient, which is acute respiratory failure. The R99 is a sign or symptom, which I'm assuming is related to my respiratory failure. You do not code that. We have a respiratory ventilation next, and then insertion of an endotracheal airway into the trachea. Number 9, adverse effect. Once again, when it's an adverse effect, that T code needs to come second. This is really important to remember on the exam. Our code's going to be first. Number 11, again, the biggest thing here, it looks like your codes are really good. It's the sequencing that's getting you. So again, poisoning, T codes first. Whatever's wrong with the patient second. Adverse effects, whatever's wrong with the patient first. T code second. So make sure you go through those sequencing rules. 13, you did good here, sequencing wise, looks great. And then number 15, we have the fracture code. They did throw in some, I'm losing my train of thought here, activity codes. Your R codes look good. We do have an adverse effect of opioids, which you have. Nice job. Okay, let's go down to chapter 21. T86, just need, you don't need the N18.6. Number 2, dislocation. Off a little bit on that, D62. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. Just compare if anything that you have an issue with or question. I did have students put in the M code, but when you're dealing with complications and loosening and all of that, it's going to be a T code. You're not going to see these M codes. So keep that in mind. You're missing quite a few for number 3 for procedures. So let me know if you have any questions on those. Number 4, it's inflammatory, which is great. Good job. Number 5, J9 5.2 needs to be first. Acute pulmonary insufficiency. Looks like you have a sign or symptom code. And number 6, great job, off a little bit. Overall, you did a wonderful job. You just really need to check out the sequencing. I did give you answers for all of the questions, so I would advise to do them and then compare. It will just help you for the exam.